because we had that monopoly, we took the easy money. We were the only game in town on the East Coast. So we didn't have to worry about evolving, changing, becoming more attractive, turning ourselves into that destination resort that Atlantic City should be. Nobody wants to be in Las Vegas in the middle of the summer. You been there? Nobody wants to be there. And you don't want to be in the middle of the desert in the summer. But would you want to be on some of the most beautiful beaches on the East Coast? Yeah, if they also provided to you a clean and safe environment for you and for your family, if they provided other entertainment beside gaming for families so that they could bring their children to Atlantic City and know that there were other things for them to do other than just be in a casino? Yeah, listen, we got lazy. We had a monopoly and we got lazy and we didn't evolve or change. Everybody else around us did, and now we're suffering. That's the capitalist system. Now, we need to turn and evolve and make this city responsive now to these potential opportunities. And that's the way I see them. I see them as opportunities. Are they challenges too? Of course they are. I think that anybody who thinks that gambling in and of itself is a panacea that's gonna save anything, that's a short-term vision of what's gonna work. What's next then? When people get sick of slots, then are we supposed to have gaming tables at horse tracks as well? When they need the next infusion of capital? And the bottom line is, this industry has to be able to sustain itself. And so we're going to have to figure out a way to do that. And they're going to have to figure out a way to do that with us. I want the industry to continue in New Jersey, but I also do not have the money to be subsidizing failure. I don't have the money to do that anymore. Previous administrations have had the money to do it, and that's why we're in the condition that we're in. So I'm not in the game of subsidizing failure anymore. We have to subsidize success. Michael? I mean, you know, what's going to determine it is going to be the future willingness of private industry to invest in a city that they do not believe themselves, nor is perceived nationally as a clean and safe city in order to bring families. And so we need to change that. I think that perception's already there. That's why the Hansen Commission's proposal is one that I endorse. We have to do that, and it's something that I'm going to be endorsing and proposing to the legislature through the necessary legislation that needs to be proposed to make these changes. Well, first of all, there's been no agreement on debt financing with Xanadu in any respect yet. And so that's kind of speculation upon speculation. I don't know how it'll play out, Charlie. I think it depends on, one, can we come to an agreement that's an equitable agreement for the investment of the state, of any money from the state, in a partnership with whoever is going to finish Xanadu. Now, listen, if we can't come to an equitable deal where we have an opportunity for the taxpayers of New Jersey to participate in the upside, then I'm going to have to go to alternative two. Because I'm not going to throw good money after bad and have there be no upside for the people of the state. And so, you know, we're here to have an arm's length negotiation with the folks who are involved. There's a big asset sitting right down the parking lot here, and we have to make the most of the investment that's already been made in that by the state vis-a-vis the land that it sits on, and by the folks who have already invested nearly $2 billion in it. Tom? Failure of Atlantic City and what that will mean for the state of New Jersey from a revenue perspective. Because you're talking about lots of jobs that will be lost, which will lower our income tax revenue, lower our sales tax revenue. So that's the impact I'm talking about. What's risky about it is exactly, you know, what the premise of Josh's question was. I mean, you know, there are going to be people who are going to be critical because there are people who just are completely allergic to change and are completely parochial about this. So, and you can already see that. You've read the stories already this morning. You can see this breaking out in a parochial way. My job as governor is to try to make sure that that historic parochialism does not rule the day any longer. Because what's happening is we have a dying complex up here because of parochialism. We have a dying city in Atlantic City because of parochialism, and nobody's willing to work together to see the ways that we're going to be able to have both of them be economic engines in their respective regions. And so the intent of the legislation is pretty clear, that it is not working now, and we need to make it work. And we cannot sit by and allow the same people, as I said before, who have stewarded over the failure of Atlantic City to continue to steward over its death. I can't sit by and let that happen. So if if the alternative is to be accused of being over-aggressive versus, being an absentee landlord, I'd rather be over-aggressive.